From The Treasure of the Magi. Forward. He toiled at the oar till sickness overcame him. He assisted to bail out the boat and to bury, is that the right word, the bodies of those who fell. He said words of prayer over poor Indian sailors, and never complained or lost heart for a moment. Through the whole of the 3 days and more of his patience, through the waves were often breaking over him, and the water must have been up to his middle. He passed away very rapidly at the end, and was gone before I could get to him. His body was laying on the edge of the boat, and I kissed him for all of you, and said some words of love, which he was past hearing outwardly. There was no opportunity to take from his body anything except his gold watch, and 1 or 2 trifles, which are in my keeping. I could not search him for papers. Indeed, I doubt if he had brought with him any from the ship. During the whole of the voyage, his mind was marvelously alert and active. He talked and read and wrote incessantly, and preached on Sundays. On the way home, he had read the whole of the Odyssey in the small Pickering edition, and among his first remarks to me was his opinion as to the disparity of the 23rd book with the rest of the poem. One strange and beautiful experience we shared together with Major of the Abyssinian Embassy, who was returning to England. We developed literary sympathies, and one day the conversation turned on Lycidas. The Major knew it by heart, so did J.H.M., or almost by heart. I was a bad third in the recitation, and when we halted for a passage, J.H.M., John Hope Milton, ran to his cabin and brought his pocket copy of Milton to verify doubtful words with. How little we suspected what was the meaning of our exercise. They laughed at my delight over the sounding sentences, and I had to explain that it made my blood tinge, but we did not know that the amber flow of the Elysian speech had become one more sacramental, and that we were really reciting the liturgy of the dead. That Lycidas, your sorrow is not dead, sunk though he be beneath the watery floor. He had his own solemn troop, and his own sweet society to make him welcome. It is one of our Lord's sayings that one shall be taken and another shall be left, and the words lie dormant in meaning long spaces of time, then rise up and smite us in the face. Why was one taken and the other left? Why did that perfidious spark discriminate between the sacred dead that it sunk low, and the one which was much wider to the harvest? But for questions like these, there is no answer yet. I would tell you more if I could, but this is all I can say at the present. With deepest sympathy, your friend and his, Randall Harris. In this book there is a passage written by Dr. Moulton only a few days before he left India, from which we may realize how he would wish us to think of his death. If our earthly life is only a testing and a training, we need not wonder why there are so many premature withdrawals of bright and promising lives. God does not need the time we need to test a character, nor does he take our view of the importance of a post to which he has set us. Only he can know whether service here or service yonder is better for any individual, for the supreme interest of his kingdom. At the time when he decided to go to India, Dr. Moulton agreed to prepare the volume which is herewith published. His Iranian studies had already given him all the scientific preparation required, while the experience he was about to have among Parsis would give him that intercourse with which those who profess Zoroastrianism, they would not recall that, Kanon Zardosht maybe, which is required in order to fill the condition laid down for the volumes of this series. In the second paragraph of the editorial preface, He took it upon the work with a great eagerness, and thoroughly enjoyed the labor of preparing the manuscript. Since it would be necessary, as soon as he arrived in England, to take up the work on the lexicon of the New Testament Greek, which he was preparing in collaboration with Professor Milligan, he saw that it would be wise to complete the manuscript of the Treasure of the Magi before leaving India. This he did, and he had 3 typewritten copies prepared, one of which he sent by post to his brother in England before leaving India. Through this circumstance, the publication of the volume has been made possible, for the original autograph lies at the bottom of the Mediterranean. The manuscript has been printed precisely as it is left by Dr. Moulton's hands, with the exception of a few sentences which have been slightly modified by the editors. Dr. Moulton, in a letter written before he left India, had expressed a wish that this should be done. We owe very great gratitude to the Right Reverend Dr. Casartelli, Roman Catholic Bishop of Salford, for his extreme kindness in revising the proofs, as only one could do with those who possessed his profound learning in Iranian subjects. Those who knew Dr. Moulton will realize how much he would appreciate this further expression of a friendship which he valued very highly from a scholar of such great distinction. Now, "13 chapters. I'm not sure if I can keep up the pace of a chapter a day, but I will try. Remember, a difference between Mazda Zarathustra and Christianity is that these individuals, they're saviors. They're saviors because they accomplished something in the way of an example. They've, by God's grace of revelation, brought forth a teaching that would save the people if they chose to follow it, that if they chose to believe in God and his messenger. It's not some vicarious thing, but it's something that promotes good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Dr. Adam Daniels would use the opposite term.